more options in terms of other freeways. He could get to the 210 that way. But that CHP unit, again, a little bit of a surprising moment for me because CHP actually staying behind this pursuit even though it's on surface streets now. And that is a little bit of unusual behavior there as well. As we come to a traffic light here that is red, the suspect pulling through a gas station parking lot, going around that traffic light, really erratic driving there through that intersection. That's going to be Glen Oaks Boulevard and Pierce Street, and it looks like the rear bumper is just hanging off the side of the vehicle there, possibly from some earlier contact that this driver had with another vehicle. I think not that far away from here. Going northbound on Glen Oaks Boulevard now, and just as I say that, suspect makes a left turn on Van Nuys Boulevard. We're going to be headed back towards the 5 freeway right now. You saw a little glimpse of LAPD airship right now, and the CHP vehicle looking possibly for an opportunity to perform a pit maneuver right there. Another turn now. This appears to be Norris Avenue, I believe. This is in the area of San Fernando Gardens, which is one of the complexes in the neighborhood here. And we've seen pursuits end here before, so I wouldn't be surprised if that happens again, if the driver decides to stop and get out and run, because that's something we've seen happen before. We're getting kind of in the center of the apartment complex here. This is San Fernando Gardens, and those CHP units not taking any chances. They're trying to maintain eye contact with this driver, with this vehicle that does have some rear bumper damage, and there's an LAPD unit just kind of going through the area there. No doubt they are aware. There's another LAPD unit in the intersection there on the right side of your screen, and that LAPD unit almost having a close call there with the pursuit vehicle as we're just making these left and right turns, kind of zigzagging through the neighborhood here. We're moving a little bit away from San Fernando Gardens now. Left turn now. I believe that's going to be Suter Avenue. Almost coming into contact with some oncoming traffic right there. And now a right turn again, back in the vicinity of Whiteman Airport. And we're going to come out to San Fernando Boulevard again. That LAPD unit waiting. Not sure if they were possibly planning to do a spike strip there. I did not see one. But I'm wondering if that was going to be the hope at some point. Now flying down San Fernando Boulevard at a high rate of speed. The next major intersection will be Osborne Street. That is a very busy intersection, but it'll also give the suspect a couple of options there. It's making me a little nervous that driver's staying in the center median, swerving around oncoming traffic through that intersection, running the red light. Very dangerous behavior here in these very busy intersections. That LAPD air unit keeping the night sun on this suspect. It seems like the suspect's slowing down a little bit, even though he's going into oncoming traffic right there, running the red light, making a right turn in front of oncoming traffic. This is going to be Branford going westbound now. Suspect appears to be slowing down. He's aware that there's no officers behind him, pulling over now. But the driver has to be aware, and there he is. He's out, he's running. You know the driver was aware that the police helicopter is still overhead, so you have to wonder what's going through this person's mind. It doesn't look like there was anybody else that got out of the vehicle. But that LAPD air unit is keeping a close eye on this suspect. You see there the back office of possibly warehouse or something of that nature, and the suspect just kind of runs in and then runs into one of these businesses. And this is not a situation that LAPD wants. This is not a situation that anybody wants, because once the suspect runs into a building like that, you see the CHP unit come to a stop. You see an employee run out, pointing to these officers where that suspect ran. And LAPD and CHP, they have to operate on the assumption that this person's armed. Probably a scary situation for that employee there, just working at this warehouse. CHP and multiple officers from LAPD are trying to gather some information about what this business is, what the layout is, and what they're going to have to do. That CHP officer getting out his long gun. And they are going to figure out the best way to make access to... Oh, you see another employee running out. You got to imagine that's a extremely scary situation if you're just working the night shift at a warehouse here, and somebody just runs in and probably barricades themselves in one of these offices. I'm curious to see CHP kind of backing away from the building now. We're trying to gather some more information from the LAPD airship and the monitoring the communications of the CHP officers and the LAPD officers on the ground as they now develop a plan of attack here. They're setting up a perimeter around this building. It did seem like the air unit from LAPD got a good handle of the what kind of building they're dealing with here, and if there's any entrances and exits that police would have to be aware of. And they also have those employees that ran out of the building that could possibly help with that information as well. For those of you familiar with the area, this is going to be in Pacoima, just west of San Fernando Road, just off of Brantford Street. There's a couple businesses. It looks like a cargo company. We had a couple other shipping companies in this business complex. You see their pallets inside, boxes nearby. The air unit has indicated to the officers on the ground that there is no known exit in the rear of the building. So that should be some help to these officers, knowing that they can then figure out how to take this suspect into custody, knowing that hopefully he has no way out once he's inside. You see there the woman in the blue dress. She was one of the employees inside. On the left side of the picture there, Rob, if we pan right a little bit, that was one of the other employees inside the business. Left, he's talking to officers there. So you see LAPD and the CHP officers that are on scene here in a mutual aid capacity. They are kind of changing their stance here, knowing that the information they've gotten from the employees that ran out of this business is that there should be no other way out than this garage entrance right here. So that gives these officers a little bit of time. They could figure out a plan. They could see what they need, how many people they need, before they go in and look for the suspect and take him into custody, hopefully without further incident. LAPD setting up to make entry into the building. A lot of these business parks that are really just little warehouses with one garage entry, maybe one small front office door entry, and they are very kind of cookie cutter. There's no back door. It's really just that main garage entrance and then concrete walls separating the businesses. And so that may have actually been a really terrible decision by this suspect to run into one of these businesses, because he potentially has no way out. But as we said, this gives the officers on the ground, those LAPD units, those LAPD officers in the center of your screen, more time to coordinate, gather some information, and when the watch commander gives the word, those officers are going to make entry, hopefully make contact with the suspect and take him into custody. Once again, you're watching the termination of a LAPD and CHP pursuit that caused quite a commotion here in the San Fernando Valley, up the 170 freeway down into Hollywood for a bit, making some close contact. We did see a couple of vehicles that did seem to be sideswiped, and some damage to the original pursuit vehicle. The vehicle had a bumper hanging off, so we know he did make contact with other vehicles. LAPD and CHP are certainly going to talk to those other drivers and gather their information, because they are now witnesses to the events of this pursuit. The pursuit started as a stolen vehicle call, went up and down Sherman Way, Victory Boulevard, down on the 170, as we said, through Hollywood, exited Vine, came... that's actually the 101, came back up the 101 and up the 170 again, onto the 5 freeway, off to surface streets in the Pacoima area, where we did see the suspect drive very erratically, sideswiping a couple of vehicles, running a lot of red lights before dumping the vehicle right here on San Fernando Road. The driver then ran into this business here that you see with the garage open on the top of your frame there. Now, LAPD and CHP seem to have information that there's no way out of this business. We saw 2 employees of the business run outside after the suspect ran inside, and they apparently told police that, hey, there's just this one garage door, possibly that other glass door in the front there, that might also be connected to the business, but you basically have this front side entrance, as you see now, that CHP unit, that LAPD unit setting up in kind of a barricade position at this, facing this garage door. And LAPD really taking their time here, because as we said, they know that there should be no way out. There's no back doors to this business, and this garage door is the only entrance and exit to this business. So now LAPD is going to get all their ducks in a row, make sure they're ready for an entry into this building. They always have to act as if a suspect could be armed and dangerous, and that's why they are taking a kind of defensive stance so far before they move inside the building and hopefully take the suspect into custody without further incident. If you're still watching with us on abc7.com and all of our ABC7 streaming platforms, I'm Gabe Santos in Air 7 with pilot Tyler and Rob, our photographer. We are watching a little bit of a standoff here at the end of a pursuit. A pursuit that ran up and down the 170 freeway, down into Hollywood for a bit, now up in the Pacoima area, in a business district in Pacoima, where the suspect bailed on the vehicle, and then ran into this business. The good news about this particular business unit is that we believe that, you could see there the large LAPD presence here. The original call appeared to be a stolen vehicle call, and that's why LAPD started in this pursuit. You see the CHP units there on scene as well, because the pursuit, for a good portion of it, was on the freeway. So CHP took over and actually stayed in control of the pursuit through the Pacoima area until the suspect foot bailed and ran into this garage unit there. We believe that this long building is actually comprised of individual garage units, if you will. Not that large, but the employees that ran out of the garage after the suspect ran in apparently informed officers on scene that there's no back doors or anything like that, that the suspect could run out of. So they believe this that you're seeing there at the top of your screen, that is the only way in and out of at least this particular garage rental unit. So you see those LAPD units, looks like that's going to be Mission Division. This pursuit originally started in the Devonshire Division, so I wouldn't be surprised if you see some officers from Devonshire Station also arriving on scene there, and I think I do see some of those cars there that do appear to be Devonshire Division units. And so that LAPD unit, kind of positioned in a defensive stance there, is giving officers cover until they receive word that they're going to make entry into this building and hopefully take the suspect into custody. Now, hopefully that doesn't take too long because, as we said, we know that these units aren't particularly large unless there's anything dangerous inside the building that maybe the officers have been told about. So now we wait once again until LAPD it's basically the way that kind of chain of command works is the watch commander overseeing the situation needs to take in all the information and kind of make a decision on what the officers on the ground need to do and when they need to do it. So we're waiting to see that happen right now. At some point very soon in the future, you will see those officers make entry into the building and at least try and lay eyes on the suspect, verify if he is still, as we said, they have to always kind of deal with all these situations as if a suspect is armed, so they have to verify that the suspect is no longer a danger and then take him into custody. We are hearing now that possibly a K9 unit is en route, and that would the fact that we're hearing that the K9 unit is on the way kind of gives us more of an understanding as to why those officers on the ground haven't made entry quite yet, and it is because they are apparently waiting for that K9 unit to arrive, and once that K9 unit arrives, that will make it a little bit easier for officers to take the suspect into custody if they believe that the suspect will continue to be uncooperative.